T.O. or A.J.?
Me
you got
personally,
one game, John. You got to win one ball game. You got one receiver. You need them, and they're both in their peak.
Randy Moss.
No, that's not the fucking question, J-Mac.
I would rather have a happy and healthy AJ Brown than T.O.
Wow. Really?
So if you're talking about AJ in 22, I'd rather have AJ in 22 and 23 than, and one of the reasons why, T.O. was a headache too.
They're all headaches.
Yeah, they're all headaches to a certain level. So I don't. So people say, well, like T.O. wasn't a fucking headache. It's bizarre to me. The revisionist history is bizarre to me. I think as you get off of it, in 10 years, I think people that still like the Eagles and follow the Eagles, I think they'll realize how good he was. I think. Like I said at the start of the show, I hope he and Jalen get to a point where they realize what they accomplished together.
I think they will get to that.
And that's another.
I don't know if AJ's perceived, and
now I wasn't here. I wasn't here for that Eagles team, but I know. But I've seen some pretty good teams.
Where were you at that time? Were you covering Were you covering the Vikings, or were you covering basketball?
I was still covering the Vikings at that time. So I've seen Randy at his height, and I've seen a 15-1 team, which was phenomenal, a phenomenal team. And I said all the way up to 2022. That was the best team I've ever seen in person. And I said, this team is better than I remember having the argument with Jody because they didn't win. So Jody said the 2017 Eagles team was better. And I said, no, they weren't. No. The 22 team was the best team I ever saw. And I still think it's the best team I ever saw. I think it's better than the 2024 team. 2024 team is really fucking good, though, as well. But I think the 2022 team is the best team I've ever covered. And I know people will revision and say that team was better. And I'm like, I doubt it. And, that's about far more than just the receivers. That's about everything. But AJ was a big fucking part of that, of how good that team was.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I don't know that, and I'm not the perfect person to talk on this because I haven't watched them all as much as I've watched AJ, but AJ, as much as I like AJ, and I think some fans are stupid about him because they do act like he wasn't this great player now that he left. He obviously was a great player. I never thought he reached the level of those guys in terms of, like I said yesterday, I don't think AJ is a Hall of Fame player. And that's not that he's not a Hall of Fame talent, but I don't think his career has gone the way of a Hall of Fame player. T.O. is. Nobody was questioning that. You brought up Randy. You brought up these other. Nobody's questioning any of those guys going to the Hall of Fame. You might have a different flavor that you prefer. I don't know that AJ ever entered that conversation. He's not even the best or close to the best in his era. I mean, Jefferson and Chase are going to get that.
Well, that's one of the things that drives AJ. I mean, AJ, was drafted into a situation where Derrick Henry was there. And then he came here and he had the 2 years where he was off the charts and then they got Saquon. And, there's not too, if you go through the other great receivers, you're not going to see running backs like that. You're just not. You'll see a bunch of good ones. But I mean, that's for a receiver, that's kind of bad luck in a weird way. As far as numbers, when you're talking about, and unfortunately, numbers drive Hall of Fame especially at receiver. So I mean, that's definitely certainly something that AJ has looked at. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think he's closer to being a Hall of Famer than you think he is. But
We had Armando Salguero on yesterday, who is a Hall of Fame selector. He said he's definitely talented enough for the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah,
The numbers,
God, yeah. I mean, there's no question about that. Gift wise, yeah. But yeah, he's got to keep. Like I said, if he gets 2 more All Pros in New England and another Super Bowl, he's a no doubt about it Hall of Famer. Now that's very difficult to do, but
what about 2 more All Pros and no Super Bowl?
Then they'll probably, in that situation, that'll be 5 All Pros. He'll be borderline, I would say.
Because there is the big logjam at receiver net right now, isn't there? And then I mentioned the guys that
but
I think
a bunch of those guys don't even fucking belong in the conversation. They don't have 5 All Pros. They just have numbers. They're compilers. Like people get obsessed with those numbers.
Yeah, Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, Steve Smith.
Yeah, he's better than. Give me those numbers. Give me those names.
Torrey Holt.
Torrey was good.
He has over 13,000 receiving yards.
He's
Reggie Wayne, multi-time finalist, 8,000-yard seasons in a ring with the Colts. I don't have their full numbers.
Peyton Manning, by the way.
Yeah, and then Steve Smith.
Steve Smith, very unique player. They're all great players. They're all certainly worthy of Hall of Fame.
Like they all had to wait because what's his name just got in. Shit, what's his name? I'm blanking on his damn name right now. Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah. Well, Larry's a no-brainer.
Much. I mean, he got in this year. He was. I think he was the first ballot.
Yeah, he's first ballot. Yeah. He's definitely not Larry Fitzgerald. None of those guys are Larry Fitzgerald. So I mean, look, he's still got to do more, but he certainly will be in the conversation. And I'm trying to look where Pro Football.
Because then you're going to have guys like Devontae Adams coming up. He'll be a Hall of Famer. Mike Evans, I don't know if he's probably going to be a logjam guy. DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
know. I'm just trying to see, like, you know what I mean. And then you have the
I don't think
guys
it's. I don't think it's about. It's about first ballot. Like he's not going to be a first ballot guy, but I mean, he's definitely got to do more. But like I said, if he gets to those, like right now, if you look at his Hall of Fame monitor, it's higher than Justin Jefferson on Pro Football Reference.
Do they do a Hall of Fame monitor? I didn't know they did that. Yeah. That's pretty cool. What is that, Pro Football Reference?
That's about longevity. I mean, they're both not near because they don't have the longevity yet. But if they continue going at their, like if Jefferson continues another 5 years at his pace, he's a no-brainer. First ballot.
Well, he better get a better quarterback.
Well, that comes
out a little more.
But the when you talk about the best receivers of all time, according to Pro Football Reference, so take it as you will. Jerry Rice 1, Randy Moss 2, Marvin Harrison 3, Larry Fitzgerald 4, T.O.'s 5, Steve Largent 6, Lofton 7, Lance Allworth 8, Chris Carter 9, Tim Brown 10. Those are your top 10 receivers of all time. And AJ's got a long way to go. He's got to, so does Jefferson. But
how many Pro Bowls does AJ have? Or not Pro Bowls, all pros?
3. Second
no
team.
No first team though, right? Yeah.
No. But second team counts. They count them. Those are very valuable. And he got them all in Philadelphia, by the way. He was a 3-time All-Pro in Philadelphia.